You can leave the mob, but the mob never leaves you. A peaceful morning in Marseille. Charlie Mattei, a former high-ranking mobster, enjoys a moment of tranquility. He feeds the pigeons in a quiet park before heading to his car in an underground parking garage. This is his life now. Simple, peaceful, clean. But peace is an illusion. As soon as he reaches his car, masked gunmen emerge from the shadows. They open fire without hesitation, bullets tearing into him from all directions. Mattei collapses, blood pooling beneath him. The gunmen don't stop. They want him dead. By the time they're done, 22 bullets have shredded his body. They leave, certain that he won't survive. The camera lingers on Mattei, motionless, the light in his eyes fading. But then, his fingers twitch. He gasps. He's still alive. The doctors are stunned. No one should have survived that attack. Every breath is agony, but Mattei's mind is already racing. Who betrayed me? Detective Marie Goldman enters his hospital room. She's skeptical of Mattei's supposed retirement. Goldman has her own vendetta. Her husband, also a cop, was murdered by the same criminal underworld Mattei once ruled. She sees him as nothing more than a gangster getting a taste of his own medicine. But Mattei doesn't care about the police. This is personal. Just days before the ambush, Mattei was a family man. He had walked away from the underworld years ago, choosing a peaceful life with his wife and young son. No more crime, no more bloodshed. His best friend Karim ran a small auto shop, and life seemed normal. But in the world Mattei came from, retirement is a fairy tale. His past still lingers in the shadows. And in those shadows, someone decided he needed to die. As Mattei struggles to recover, he starts piecing together what happened. The attack wasn't random, it was an execution order. Someone from his past wanted him eliminated. And only one name makes sense. Tony Zacchia. Zacchia was once Mattei's closest friend, but power changed him. He became ruthless, paranoid, and obsessed with control. To him, Mattei was a loose end. A man like Mattei, even in retirement, was still a threat. And Zacchia's biggest mistake? He didn't finish the job. Mattei doesn't waste time. He escapes the hospital despite his wounds, knowing Zacchia won't stop until he's dead. He moves like a ghost, tracking down old connections, digging for answers. One by one, he hunts down the hitmen who tried to kill him. His first target is a low-level thug, one of the shooters. The man barely has time to react before Mattei corners him. With quiet, calculated precision, Mattei makes him talk. The thug spills everything. Zacchia ordered the hit. He wanted Mattei erased. Mattei doesn't kill him. Yet. Instead, he leaves the man tied up, sending a brutal message back to Zacchia. You should have made sure I was dead. Bodies are dropping all over Marseille, and Detective Marie Goldman knows exactly who's behind it. Charlie Mattei. As a seasoned investigator, Goldman isn't naive. She has spent years fighting the criminal underworld, and Mattei, despite his so-called retirement, is no different in her eyes. But unlike most criminals, Mattei is calculated. He isn't killing random thugs, only those tied to his attempted murder. Goldman is torn. On one hand, she wants justice. On the other, she understands Mattei's actions. She knows what it's like to lose everything. Her husband, a fellow officer, was murdered by the mob years ago. The case went cold. Witnesses disappeared. The justice system failed her. The same system now telling her to stop Mattei is the one that let Zacchia and his men walk free. Her conflict deepens when her superiors order her to back off. The higher-ups in Marseille's police force have been paid off. They don't want Zakia taken down. Goldman realizes she's alone in this fight, but she has a decision to make. Does she stop Matei, or let him finish what the law never could? Furious and desperate, Zakia retaliates. He knows Matei has one weakness: his loved ones. Matei's best friend, Karim, runs an auto shop, completely uninvolved in crime. But that doesn't matter to Zakia. Late at night, Zakia's men arrive at the shop. Karim fights back, but he's outnumbered. They gun him down mercilessly, leaving a bloody message on the wall. "Stop or more will die." Matei arrives too late. He finds Karim's lifeless body, his blood staining the shop floor. His hands tremble, rage boiling inside him. This isn't just revenge anymore. This is war. Matei swears revenge and goes on a hunt for the masterminds of the attack. He visits the hit squad during a birthday celebration and announces that he will kill each of them randomly at a time of his choosing. As the tension reaches its peak, Charlie Matei finds himself facing his most desperate challenge yet. His young son has been kidnapped by his mortal enemy, Tony Zakia, the man responsible for the ambush that nearly killed him, the betrayals that tore his world apart, and the bloodshed that has haunted him since his return, is now holding the one person Matei values above all else. For the first time, Matei isn't fighting for revenge. He's fighting for his family. Knowing he cannot take down Zakia alone, Matei turns to Detective Marie Goldman, the relentless officer who has been hunting him. But Goldman is more than just a cop. She's a woman still mourning her husband's murder. A crime she has long suspected was ordered by Zakia himself. Their paths have been at odds throughout the film, but now they share a common enemy. Goldman holds the power to either bring Matei down or let him walk free in order to put an end to Zakia's empire. Reluctantly, she agrees to an uneasy alliance. The police secure a USB drive filled with damning evidence, proof that Zakia is knee-deep in money laundering, fraud, and corruption at the highest levels. The walls are closing in on the untouchable crime boss, but before the law can take him down, Matei has one last score to settle. Armed and determined, Matei tracks down the location of his son, storming the hideout with the precision of a man who has fought his whole life to survive. With bullets flying and bodies dropping, he fights his way through Zakia's men, his every movement fueled by the fear of losing his child. When he finally reaches his son, the moment is heart-wrenching. His boy is frightened, shaken, but alive. Matei embraces him, whispering promises of safety, vowing that this nightmare is almost over. But he knows it isn't. There's one last thing he needs to do. With his son safe, Matei heads straight to Zakia's home, ready to end the war once and for all. This isn't just about revenge anymore. It's about ensuring his family never has to live in fear again. The moment Matei steps inside, Zakia turns the tables on him, catching him off guard and holding him at gunpoint. The once feared crime lord is now at his most dangerous, a cornered animal, knowing that his empire is crumbling and his time is running out. With a smirk, Zakia taunts Matei, reminding him that no matter how much he tries to escape his past, he will always be a killer at heart. Matei, bleeding, exhausted, and staring down the barrel of a gun, seems to have lost. Then, sirens. Police flood the scene, weapons drawn. Zakia hesitates for just a second, but it's enough. He's surrounded. His time is up. Matei and Zakia are both arrested. As Matei sits in custody, Detective Goldman makes a choice. Despite everything, there isn't enough evidence to charge Matei. The police may know he has taken justice into his own hands, but without solid proof, they have to let him go. Before he leaves, Goldman gives Matei one final revelation. Among the 8 shooters from the garage ambush, one had intentionally missed. Someone had spared Mate's life, even as the others had mercilessly gunned him down. Mate pieces it together. The 8th shooter was his closest friend and lawyer. A man who had always stood by him, but had been forced by Zakia to participate in the ambush. Betrayed, yet spared. When Mate finally confronts him, there is no rage, no desire for revenge. He sees the guilt in his friend's eyes, the weight of being forced into a no-win situation. Instead of anger, Mate offers forgiveness. His war is over. The final moments of 22 Bullets are not of violence, revenge, or bloodshed, but of peace. Mate, once Marseille's most feared gangster, now just a man, walks along a quiet beach with his wife and son. For the first time in years, Charlie Mate is at peace. And as he walks toward a future free of blood and vengeance, we are left with the question, can a man ever truly escape his past? Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.